it's time for a paycheck budget setup. Good morning, hello, whatever time it is you're watching this. So this is my paycheck for April 12th. This is the second paycheck that I'm tracking for April. If you remember, the last one actually started on March 29th or 30th. Let me see where it was, March 29th. So this is technically my second April paycheck since that was so close to the end of the month. So I'm just going to kind of walk through how I set this up and what's going on with my finances during this pay period. Okay? So I started this pay period with $217.66. I had incoming of $693 and $1424.20 for a total of $2,334.86. I had an Xfinity expense, an Apple expense. These were giving. And then my kids have Taekwondo, my West Penn Electric, my State Farm insurance. I'm going to make a debt payment to Discover that's already planned and scheduled. My Spotify bill. This also gives me Hulu. A long, long time ago, you could do a bundle with Spotify and Hulu, and I'm kind of grandfathered into that. Giving and my Peloton expense, which, guys, got the email the other day that this is going up in price, which I'm kind of bummed about. I love my Peloton, and there are some months that I don't get on it quite as much to justify this spending, but I would hate to lose access to everything. So that one's kind of bumming me out a little bit, and I'm trying to decide what I want to do there. But my bill total for this pay period is $1,311.92, which if I take that away from my $2,334, I'm left with $1,022.94. Carry that down to my variable expenses. I'm budgeting $200 for food this pay period, $140 for car, $50 for fun, $50 for household expenses, $55 for beauty, $20 for allowance, and $10 for the kids' sparring. So my total cash envelope variable spending is going to be $525, leaving me with $497.94. And I carry that up here. Normally with my sinking funds, I usually fund them all on one pay. That's not going to happen this month just because of the way my bills are landing. So with this $497.94, I took $200 and put that in my emergency fund. And then I'm going to fund 4 of my sinking funds this pay period. So I'm going to fund pictures, birthdays, my clothes, and boys' clothes. So for my total of funding my emergency fund and those sinking funds, it's going to be $295. And from that $497.94, I'm going to end up with $202.94 as my carryover. So I end up with a third pay in April, and it's always lower than the other ones because my first 2 pays, one includes my commission and one includes some other allowances that my benefits that my boss provides. So that third paycheck of the month that happens twice a year is literally just my hourly flat rate. So it's not a huge paycheck. So I wanted to make sure I had at least $200 carryover into that pay period just to be prepared. So that's where I'm planning on my money going for this paycheck. And I did get ready for the cash envelopes. So let me explain what I'm doing with my cash envelopes for this pay period. So for food, I'm going to be pulling out all $200 in 20s. That's fine. And then my car, which I'll talk about a little bit more in my weekly check-in because you'll see where this came from. I'm putting $50 on a Venmo debit card. I haven't used a Venmo account for years, but I got an email that they have a debit card, and I said, ideally I would love to spend cash on gas, but at a pump, that's not realistic if you don't want to run into the gas station every time you pay, which I don't. I don't have time for that, and I don't want to have time for that. So I thought, well, instead of a cash envelope, what if I had used this Venmo debit card and only put money for gas on it? So that's what we're going to try to do with that. So I'm going to transfer those $50 onto my Venmo card. I'm going to have $50 for fun, $55 for beauty, For the fun, I'm just going to break it down into 220s and 110. Beauty, I calculated it wrong. So this should be 220s, 110, and 5s. So here we go. Let me fix that real quick. See? This helps me preview my work before I go to the ATM. Allowance is going to be one $20 bill I'll get, and sparring I'll pull out one $10 bill. So if we total those up, 10, 12, 14, 15 20s, 3 10s, I've now corrected that very sloppily, and 5 1s. So when I go to the ATM, I'm actually going to be getting $335 out. That doesn't count the $50 for the Venmo card. So that's my plan. 15 20s, 3 10s, and 5 5s. So I hope this was helpful in seeing how I plan out my paycheck budgets and where I allocate my expenses and what I'm doing with my cash and my gas spending. So thank you guys so much for watching this paycheck budget setup. And I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.